Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to secure a Switch 2 pre-order. I didn't get one though. Lawrence did.
I was about to say, yeah, I got one. I haven't even checked in with you, Bruce. All it took was me just moodily refreshing my phone for like an hour during dinner. It kind of threw the whole mood off. It wasn't great, but Switch 2 was gotten in the end, and then I had a lovely affogato to polish the meal off.
You truly are a man of the people. Shocking few. The Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order situation in the United States was a shit show. Websites crashed, lines failed. Folks were stuck trying to check out for an hour or more. I literally only tried it for like a minute. And I was like, nope, we're good.
I was curious what your experience was. Yeah, I was on the verge of giving up when Best Buy finally came through, but yeah, I had 3 tabs open, apps. I was jumping back and forth, refreshing, trying to check out. I was hammering that Target checkout button. It just kept throwing me just like, something bad happened. Try again. So that's really fun to see for like an hour and a half. But yeah, luckily, because Best Buy lagged a little bit behind, that's how I got mine. But yeah, at the time of writing, it seems that all 4 major retailers are completely sold out of pre-orders. That's Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and GameStop. I did see online some people managed to pick up pre-orders in store. Bruce, you might still be able to do that today. Who knows if they still got some going on. But yeah, it was a rush. It was a rush.
Amazon and Newegg have yet to open up the pre-orders, which is weird. And if you didn't get one, there is still hope. You could still get your college application approved by Nintendo if you played Zelda for 70 hours or whatever, because I did that too. So we'll see if they actually approve that. Nintendo's direct sales program will start sending out invites on May 8th.
Yeah. It seems they wanted to, I'm going to guess they wanted to open up some headspace for their retail partners so they could sell out, and then Nintendo will come in after the fact. There are some catches here, though. Opting into the direct sales program actually adds you to a queue, provided you hit all their weird requirements. Bruce mentioned this. You have to have a doctorate in Zelda. Specifically, you have to be you have to have been a Nintendo Switch online subscriber for 12 months, and then you have to have over 50 hours of gameplay data that's also being shared. I looked into this. Sharing the opt-in was turned on automatically at a certain system update. So if you didn't touch anything, You've been sharing data, and you should be okay.
I usually turn that shit off. Well, we'll see.
You got to dig into your profile pretty deep to find it.
Yeah, well, maybe I didn't. Who knows? I hate when companies have my data. They've updated the direct sales page with the following message, quote, "Due to the very high demand, we will be working diligently to fulfill orders as product becomes available, but delivery by June 5th is not guaranteed. Your invitation email may arrive after the Nintendo Switch 2 launch. We'll confirm your shipping date upon purchase."
So yeah, it seems like even through launch and post-launch, they intend to sell direct. So yeah, hopefully for the folks that didn't grab one there, or won't be able to grab one before launch, they'll eventually be able to get one direct from Nintendo.
Going by CNET's timeline, most retailers sold out of their pre-order stock within 90 minutes or so. Best Buy took a little longer, like Lawrence talked about. He was the one that got the Best Buy pre-order. Maybe because they started a little later than the other retailers, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, they were about 30 to 40 minutes late. Everybody else kind of went up at midnight. Some of the retailers went from it's coming to immediately sold out, and then it would kind of trickle. And that 90 minutes was not a smooth 90 minutes of sales either. I think everybody was sort of frothing and fighting over it. In addition to maybe a horde of bots that we can presume were probably hammering down the doors as well.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of scalping going on. We don't have any official numbers, but it really does seem like the Nintendo Switch 2 is selling well, right? I mean, like, when people are frustrated about pre-orders and like, I can't get it in the refreshing web, they could be scalpers, I guess, but probably maybe not.
Yeah, they could be. I don't see exorbitantly high prices or a ton of scalping listings on eBay yet, but we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, Bruce, this kind of hits on to the narrative around the Switch 2. A lot of people are upset by the price. But as I think we both speculated, that doesn't seem to have put the damper on the American spirit to buy things.
Circumstantial evidence shows that the Switch 2 is really popular in multiple markets. So Bloomberg is reporting that analysts are expecting 6 to 8 million console sales at launch, which would actually break console sales records.
Yeah, this is really interesting. The PS4 and PS5 are tied right now for best console launch with 4.5 million units sold each. It is worth noting, though, that both of those consoles probably sold through their entire stock. So the record would probably have been higher if Sony were able to make more PlayStations. The word is that Nintendo's making tons of Switch 2s, which may get them the record in this situation.
The 6 to 8 million figure seems extrapolated from Nintendo's announcement that 2.2 million people signed up for Nintendo's sales lottery in Japan. Statista clocks the Switch's launch month as selling 2.74 million, so they've almost hit that just in Japan, which is crazy.
Yeah, provided everyone that signed up for the lottery is a legitimate person that wants to buy one, but still, it's not the most profound indicator, but it's one of the first major ones we have that this thing is selling like crazy.
Game Rant translated an interview posted on French technology site Frandroid with Charlotte Massical. I'm sure I'd pronounce that wrong, sorry. Director of Multimedia and Gaming for French retailer FNAC. So here's what they said. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Massical said that Switch 2 pre-orders have hit an historic level. An historic level. You have to be very, very cultured and use the appropriate article here, yeah. And that sales have been, quote, completely crazy.
Wow. So here's the full quote, courtesy of machine translation. Quote, the first few days, the first weekend, it was completely crazy. We saw in terms of pre-order on a console, we were on a historical level. On an historical level. Fairly quickly. I got to make sure I got an historical. You sound really smart when you say an historical.
Right? It's an historical moment, Bruce. A new Nintendo console. Unsurprisingly, yes, there are Switch 2 listings already on eBay. Seems like most prices are currently $600 to $750. That's a pretty healthy markup, but not in the. We're not seeing the like $1,000, $1,500 listings. I saw some of those around the PlayStation 5 launch.
In addition to, you get the multiple listings for pictures of a Nintendo Switch 2. So be careful out there. Don't order on eBay the picture of the Nintendo Switch 2. You actually want the console.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I saw some listings that were either at MSRP or a little under. I was like, what's going on there? And yeah, the description is like, this is a picture. It's a prank. Sure. Well, hopefully somebody gets a free payday out of it, but that's not you or me, Bruce. We gotta keep track of the deals.
Yeah, so this is really interesting because maybe the rest of the world are getting a normal deal on the Nintendo Switch 2 prices, whereas the US is getting a little shafted. But we will find out if all of the economy people being scared about the economy right now here in the US will actually affect Switch 2 sales. For now, what it looks like, it does not. And I'm kind of surprised by that. I guess it's good that, well, we're not lucky that we got a $450 Switch 2. Because it's like, well, thank God they didn't raise the price on us. So it's like, I don't know. I will say, me personally, I was unmotivated to do this whole song and dance for the Switch 2. Like, I did it a couple of times, literally just a couple of times this morning, because I was awake and I was like, tried it. Nope. Okay, moved on. And I don't know if people are like me there or if they really are like clamoring to get this console.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I'm excited to see the answer. Yeah, I think the early news we've got is that the early adopters or the enthusiasts more than willing to snap it up. I am curious if those sales are just going to continue and continue and continue. I'm especially curious how Nintendo's direct sales program is going to work. Is that really going to get a Switch 2 in the hands of everybody that wants to buy one? And if so, how long is that going to take? But hopefully that will allow people to sidestep all those scalpers and buy something at normal MSRP, which again, we don't necessarily have to be thankful for, but it could have been worse.
That's what I thought this morning. I was like, you know what, Papa Nintendo, maybe they'll send me the application approved stamp, and then I'll get it there. That's kind of what I was hoping for. And if that doesn't happen, I guess maybe I'll try. I'm not really motivated to give them $450 for this thing. Like, and again, like I've said over and over on our episodes and in comments of our videos, it is our job to get these consoles and to play them and show them off like on stream and on Inside Games and everywhere else. And I'm still not really motivated. So it's kind of like, if I feel like people aren't going to fault me if I'm like, I tried, I couldn't get one. They'll go, that's okay. So I don't know. I certainly don't have the fervor that I did for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
Really interesting. Because I wasn't that motivated for Series X or PS5 myself. And I do think this is part of being an 80s kid of a particular generation. Nintendo consoles are basically the only milestone left in my life. I got my driver's license. Now it's just retirement and the various chunks of plastic and silicon that Nintendo cranks out. So also, hopefully, we'll get a little drunk Mario Kart action going on. And I was really hoping to get a Switch 2 on launch day so we can commemorate it properly.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Now, just reminded me that maybe I do need to get a Switch 2 just in case. We have a backup one in the case that Lawrence doesn't get his. But all right, Lawrence, let's move on to Inside Games is on your side.
That's right. We're all $450 lighter, so we got to get the free games when we can. The free epic game this week is Chuchel? Chuckle? Maybe it's Chuckle. This is actually another game from the makers of Botanicula, which we talked about a while ago, but it's like a little humorous weird guy adventure game. Good for weird guys.
There's also free games on Amazon Prime, like always, Minecraft Legends, Thief Gold, and the Last Spell. We may have covered those a couple of days ago, but again, go get them, because it's one of those things that usually once you claim them, or if you don't claim them, they go away forever. So if you have Amazon Prime, make sure you get them.
Yeah, scoop them up. Speaking of scooping, no, that doesn't make any sense. All right. Well, best of luck to everybody out there. Hopefully you got the wind at your back and you can pick up a Switch 2 pre-order. Here at the end of the episode, we'd like to shout out a few legendary Inside Games Patreon supporters, Red and 003 and Keto White. You're the reason, unironically, that I was able to ruin dinner and lock down a Switch 2 pre-order. So thank you very much.